Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Coming to you almost live from the Thondia Gnarlwood in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, it's the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 127. It's April 24th, and I'm your host, Bill. Oh my God, Sylvanether Cool Costello, and with me today,
all the way from the frozen pitch on Norska, is Joshua. I guess I'm a Vikings fan. Alt.
Wow, you changed your fandoms just like that? Oh my God.
I'm obsessed with that Norseman team, man.
You are so addicted to plastic.
I know. I mean, the second they released, beer bores and a bunch of drunken Vikings, I was sold.
Okay. I can see that. They are very cool, and getting to take a quick peek yesterday, they look really, really cool. And those models are going to find their way into a lot of different places, especially Space Wolves.
The thing is, I really like the Viking aesthetic.
Yeah.
And like Space Wolves, I guess, are cool-ish, but I don't really like the space Viking aspect.
Yeah.
So when I see the real Vikings, more realistic Viking in a way, I guess, I was like, yeah, I like that. I like that. The traditional look to it. And I mean, they have Yetis that are star players and Yetis that are their big guys, and they've got Techno Viking as their star player. I'm pretty excited for it. We'll get into that in creation, I guess.
They are literally off the hook with that team. It's cool and it's awesome. I love to see when they support those other games like that, and it seems like all the games in the range right now are getting their moment in the sun. They're getting their support. It's not like it used to be where, we might go a year before we saw a Blood Bowl team. I mean, I think this has been a really long drought for Blood Bowl, hadn't it?
Relatively speaking, yeah, it's probably been about a year. No, because Korn was the most recent one, maybe about 4 to 6 months ago.
And then they've done some like card update packs and, team plays and what have you. So, but it's still a relatively constant feed of stuff. So that's awesome. I love it.
Me too.
So we are definitely a week late. Apologies. Life happens. You had stuff to do last Sunday. I had a plethora of things going on, so we just really couldn't do it. And so we are here today to make up for it.
Yeah, we thank you for your patience. And
want to talk about some events that are coming up real quick that people have dropped into the Discord upcoming event section.
All right.
So first up, we have Shore Wars, which is going to be Friday, December 2nd to Sunday, December 4th. That's up in Mentor, Ohio at the City of Mentor Civic Ice Arena. So I would say wear thick shoes because, okay, I'm kidding. I'm just really kidding. But this event is over on Eventbrite. Or, you can jump into our Discord and talk to one of I believe he's an organizer. You can talk to the folks right there. And but it is listed in Eventbrite as Shore Wars, and that's out in Mentor, Ohio, so northeastern Ohio.
Yeah, it looks like Gore Gruntabel posted that one for us.
Yes.
He also posted another one for us, too.
Yes.
Oh,
this is the one he's doing.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the one he's doing. This is in Rocky River, Ohio.
Okay.
This is May 1st. Rocky River, Ohio. He's got a few folks signed up right now. It looks like he's got at least 6 players. If you want to jump on the Discord and talk to him about it, it's Gore Gruntabel on our Discord. I'm not going to give out his email address because I haven't pre-arranged it with him to do that. But if he says yes, we'll just put it out there and somewhere where you can see it, but it's going to be a 2,000-point Age of Sigmar casual tournament.
Looks like it's called May Mayhem.
Yeah.
So that's good. One thing that was posted by Ulf, which is something that Mephisto does, like once a year, he does AOS Rantcast.
Yep.
Which they call Rantathon. Ulf actually painted up quite a few models for, the charity organization. It's for mental wellness.
Yep.
It's called Take This. And so I know a lot of people have had a lot of fun listening to that in the past. I thought it was really cool, where Mephisto just goes on a 24-hour plus stream where he just has content creators come on and just literally rant about various things.
Yep.
So it's very entertaining, but your boy Ulf is essentially auctioning some things off for charity.
Yep.
So I would recommend getting on there because his painting is amazing.
Yeah, and that whole charity stream is a wonder. Last year it was $10,000.
Yeah.
And they do auctions for some pretty amazing work like what Wolf does.
Yeah.
And Ulf. Sorry, dude. Ulf. Got wolves on the brain now.
Right.
There is just some amazing stuff, prizes that get auctioned off, and you can buy raffle tickets during the thing, and some of the packages at the end are holy hand grenade good.
Oh, yes.
So, and every single penny that Mephisto makes on this goes straight to charity. He doesn't skim anything off the top. So he's just basically doing it for the good of the world. Support him.
Yes.
Okay, and last but not least, reminder, Flying Monkey Con out in Wichita, Kansas. That's September 24th. Once again, I won't be able to go because that's right smack into Nova time. So,
oof.
But Flying Monkey Con is, one of those, when AOS was really first starting up and we just started the podcast, we rented a van, and the whole group, it was Elric and Andrew and James and myself and James's son, and I think that was everybody. And we just rented a van and headed out for Wichita. Oh my God, it was a rainy, horrible Friday night when we got there, and it was a great con. They put on a good show. Even back then, it was in its infancy, and it was a good show. So I'm sure it's only gotten better and better and better. So if you're anywhere near Wichita, look at Flying Monkey Con. So that's the events. All right, you ready to go into New Dawn?
Sure am.
Okay. One thing I want to hit, because I find it super funny, and it's at the top of the list, is the Nachmund Crane debacle. So if you don't know about this, I'm not shocked, for one thing. For another, it's just too funny.
Yeah.
It really is. Because the new box came out with the crane, the old crane from a set long ago.
Amazing kit still.
Yeah, it's such a cool kit, and it's, an opportunity for people to get the crane now that it's not in other boxes. Although I think you could get it in one of the Kill Team boxes. But the crane comes on a sprue.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there's one piece of the crane that comes on a different sprue that's not in the box. And if you know that Nachmund box, that thing is like when you take the plastic off, it pops up a little bit because it's so full of plastic.
Yep.
They just could not have fit the other sprue in there. There's, of course, the rage machine is in full swing. I saw one person posting that I was so excited about this, blah, 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 but that missing piece just really killed my enthusiasm. And I'm like, wow, really? A piece of a terrain. We're not talking about, this is your Space Marine captain, or, this is your Hive Tyrant. No, This is a smokestack from a crane, which you could quite literally make out of what's in that box. That's the Nachmund terrain debacle. I think it's just too funny.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. I'm like in two parts, right? One is the lack of foresight in selling the product as it is.
Yes.
And two, the absolute bonkers responses that people are having to what's going on. Yeah, I get it. I mean, like, you're paying good money for things, but if you're honest about it, when you're buying that box, that part of the terrain was probably free in terms of the money that you invested, right? You got a deal on it.
Yeah.
So temper it, I'd be a little like, man, this sucks. But then I'd just have to figure out what to do.
And, there's a couple smokestacks in that kit. You literally just cut the top off of one of the Akamite stacks there. It fits into that hole perfectly because that set is so modular it hurts.
Yeah.
And boom, you'll never notice the smokestack is missing its top, and your crane has got a big old funky looking smokestack, and
it looks different than other people's smokestacks.
Yeah, doesn't look the same as your other one. So, yeah. So this week, or in the interim since we recorded last, the 40K balance data slate came out.
Awesome.
Yeah, big time nerfs to the factions that have been just running away with things, especially, of course, Harlequins.
Yeah.
Who literally walked through Adepticon, or danced through it, or what did they say?
Flips through, or
caterwauling, or whatever you want to call it. They basically blitzed through that tournament.
Yep.
And so they got nerfed, Custodes, Drakari, and they made some changes to indirect fire to make it a little more in line with what it should be.
Yeah.
Unless you're Imperial Guard.
Yeah.
In which case you can break all the rules.
Well, and Tyranids have a slight way to break the rules.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a synapse creature that can see the target of the indirect fire, then you're fine.
It's considered direct, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but again, you're talking about a hive mind. So
it's also pretty fluffy too. I kind of like that.
Yeah,
you know?
It is. It's a neat little thing. In that balanced data slate, Guard got some amazing buffs.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh my!
They needed them.
Lord. Yeah, they did. They were on the verge of being an afterthought. But I think now I think they could be an interesting answer to some questions on the 40K tables.
Well, I really like the big change up. I like, aside from the 6s to hit auto wound, that was amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'll take that all day. The volume of freaking las fire and whatever it is you're shooting out of them, yeah, all day. But the ability to take your squad and do any combination you want whatsoever.
Yes.
And it's 60 points.
Oh, free weapon upgrades. And that's the thing, is that's what they needed to become playable, is because the different weapon upgrades were just crushing their ability to make a list.
Yeah.
So now you can just bring your infantry in the mobs that you're used to seeing with Imperial Guard, rather than all the specialist Scion stuff. And, the Scions players are a little upset because they were eliminated from those changes. Mm-hmm. They don't get those, which is actually it's good, because if they got them, they would become the new stupid. And
dear God. Man.
Yeah, they'd be ugly.
The volume of their las fire would be absurd.
Yeah.
Absurd.
And with 6s auto hitting, that would be tremendous.
Yeah.
So, but Guard got a big old, a really good buff.
Yes.
To make them funnerer. Sisters of Battle got some changes to Miracle Dice that are going to make them a little bit more effective.
Well, it's every turn now instead of a battle round.
Yeah.
Which is great. They also got Armor of Contempt.
Yes.
Which I loved playing Valorous Heart before. So essentially, the whole army got Valorous Heart, and then Valorous Heart got the Salamander ability. Yeah. Which you can't reroll wounds against them, which I'm like,
it's cool.
It's cool-ish. I mean, can you just give them another -1 debuff? I mean, like, come on. Reduce AP by another one. Can you imagine that? Reducing AP 2 on your power armor?
Yeah, that could be. Ooh.
Oh
boy.
Oh boy, that'd be so spicy. Oh. Like, they'd be tanking las hits on just like Battle Sister squads.
Can you imagine the uproar? Oh God.
Yeah, everyone would be super upset. What's also funny, the Repentia.
Yes.
Get Armor of Contempt.
Yeah.
So
wearing okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're already relying on their 6-up, but it's kind of funny that if, you shoot at them with something, you can never, augment in any of the capacity. But
yeah.
It was just kind of cute because it has no other effect.
Yep. And also it took a couple of days, but after the Tyranid book dropped, and I guess some hopes were artificially raised that Hive Tyrants would now just be the auto win button.
Yeah.
They're not. There is a content validity update on the site. Now, I don't know why they did this the way they did it. It's not in the facts section. You have to go to downloads to get the content validity printout. But basically what it does is it breaks down the Psychic Awakening books and the campaign books, flashpoints, and White Dwarf articles, and it tells you what content from there is acceptable now and what is not. So if it's green, you still use those rules, and a lot of times it has a valid until date. So gives hope to some people about when you will see your codex.
Yeah.
So, but basically a lot of the Psychic Awakening rules, if you have a codex, the Psychic Awakening rules are gone.
Yeah.
Because those are designed to make the old codex work. Since you have a new codex, don't think you're going to get away with that kind of crap anymore. So your 50 mortal wound Hive Tyrant per turn it's not happening.
Yeah. Sorry they dashed that baby's head on the rocks, guys,
Yeah.
but it was not meant to be. Again, I think you just hit it right on the head with what the methodology of it is. And we talked about it before. Whenever a new book comes out, it's supposed to trump everything before, right? It is the new thing.
Yeah.
And there are people talking about like, well, it didn't technically say I can't do X, Y, or Z. Well, it's always been the practice,
Yes.
right? New books out, old stuff doesn't necessarily apply unless otherwise told. But now they're just very explicitly saying like, no, guys, you don't get to do that. And as we were talking about before the show, frankly, right, no one was taking that 50 mortal wound Hive Tyrant to a tournament.
It was 2 days.
It was all of 2 days.
It dropped Saturday. The thing came out Monday. So,
And everyone, that's getting upset about it. I'm like, sorry, bro.
yeah, you had Sunday to sit in a funk of rage.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Exactly. It's some people play for the instant win. So,
Yeah. It's unfortunate that some people think that they'll get away with that for a long period of time.
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that's the way it used to be. I mean, 10 years ago, that combination probably would have stuck around for 6 months.
Yeah.
And it would have been the bane of every player in the world. So that had Hive Tyrants because they would be out of stock immediately. So anyway, but that's neither here nor there. We're not in those days no more. So yay. So yeah, again, if you're looking for that content validity update, go to the downloads, not the FAQ.
Yeah.
So oddly, it should be in, I don't know. It makes sense to them. So that's fine.
It's also a Warhammer community article. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Drops that happened while we were away. The Nid major drop happened. Eldari dropped some more stuff. The Norse Blood Bowl. Oh, gee, I bet you want to talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, it might parlay into something that you might want to talk about next. So I pre-ordered the Norse Blood Bowl team.
Yay.
Lo and behold, it didn't arrive.
I'm shocked. Shocked, I say.
Wasn't even shipped. What I'm expecting to happen is that it's going to get canceled without anyone telling me, and they'll just keep my money. But I was able to get a whole one of everything at the store. So I got the team. I want 2 teams. I want all the beer bores, every combination of player.
Yes.
I want to kit bash some of them. But I got that, the pitch, the dice. Dear God, they're beautiful.
Oh, they are so slick.
The cards are great because it also comes with the cards for the star players.
Yep.
So if you want to kit bash or get a custom model for that, you've already got the cards. You got all the abilities in there. Got the Spike magazine. I think those are all the things you can get for it.
Yes, and the pitch.
Yeah, I got the pitch.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got all of it. I'm pretty stoked for I just like the aesthetic of that team.
Yeah, they're super cool. It's such a great interpretation.
Yeah.
Just so much fun. And once again, those separate studios that do the different box games, they must have just the freedom to do whatever they want to do.
Oh, God,
it's
right.
so cool. Golly gosh. Yeah, and in that vein, I would just like to say that I would love to be talking about and looking through the Arena Shades book right now to tell you about all the cool Nighthaunt stuff, but I don't have it after pre-ordering it.
Yep.
I'm not even going to go into literally, I'm pretty much done pre-ordering anything other than the special edition stuff.
Yeah.
Just because it just makes no sense. If I'm going to have to wait a month, I will get it from Frontline Gaming or from, Etten or Active Imagination or something. I just can't keep getting kicked in the teeth and saying, oh, it's okay. Do me more.
Yeah.
It just makes me think that their idea is, well, we've got your money. I don't care. We'll get you something one of these days.
Eventually you'll get it. Yeah.
So to hell with you. As long as we take care of Alliance, we're happy. So Alliance being the big distributor in America. So
Yeah. Meanwhile, last week I ordered 2 Land Raider Crusaders.
Mhm.
And they got there in less than a week.
Yeah.
Like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
It's the same damn warehouse that all the stuff comes from.
Yes. It's absolutely nuts how they're not delivering on pre-orders. Oh, yeah. Okay. I could go on for that for an hour, but that's after dark. So it might behoove you if you're into just about anything, be it Underworlds, be it 40K, be it Orcs, anything. Check the Last Chance to Buy. They have added there's like 63 items on Last Chance to Buy now.
Yeah.
So
Tons of terrain just went.
yeah, the Tau shield wall and the gun rig.
The Wall of Martyrs is completely gone now.
Yep.
I know Anders invested a lot in those.
Yeah.
Get on there. If you got the money and you're looking to get something before it goes, now's the time. Now's the time.
Yeah, some big orc named characters are on there. The Captain Bedrock, and it's some of it is surprising what's on Last Chance. Makes you wonder why. Are they coming out with new ones?
Maybe they need to clear the space for different molds and stuff to print.
And
Who
you know,
knows?
it could very well be something like that. So
Maybe, hear me out. Maybe they're getting rid of their old fine cast crap. Oh, sorry, it's too much to hope.
dear God, please.
Right, we're transitioning over to purely Forge World style resin. I would scream like a little child
Yes.
with joy. So much joy.
So much joy. Okay, so this week's pre-orders are the big one, again, is 40K, but the book 4 in the Dawn of Fire series, Throne of Light, is up for pre-order. It comes in both the softback, I believe, and the Super Duper Collector's Edition. So if that's something you want, it's probably gone. Sorry. But you can still get the book.
Book 4 in Dawn of Fire?
Book 4 in Dawn of Fire, yeah.
Oh man, I'm behind.
Yeah. I like that series. It's not the best written, but it's still good enough. You know, it's not like I fell asleep.
Yeah.
It's good. It's not Dan Abnett good, but it's really good. And it catches you up on lore and what the Primaris are all about. So
Yep.
good stuff. If you are Warhammer Underworlds, the new Nether, what do they call it? I always want to say, it's Nether Maze.
Yeah.
The box set is up for pre-order, as well as the 2 factions that are in the big box are in the separate box. So if you already have all the gear, don't worry about the big box. Get the one that you like. And the 2 forces are the Rivals and the Exiled Dead. The Exiled Dead are the new
Yep.
ones with the Electrode Vampire.
With the almost Frankenstein monster thing that just kind of fell short.
Yeah, we almost went down that road, but didn't. We stopped short. So, but they're very cool. Something else I saw up for pre-order was the Knight Errant and the Knight Paladin, which I managed to spell wrong again. Wow. But there's a note on the Knight, both of them, the Knight Errant and Knight Paladin. This kit includes parts required to build an exposed pilot seat within the Knight's chassis, as well as the pilot on foot.
So I think it's just a rebox of Canis Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me.
That's what the pictures I saw were.
But it's very, very cool to bring it back. And I think they're going to, I think Canis Rex is gone because that was far too limiting. You know, people look at that box and go, oh, well, I don't want to run a free blade. And so they pass by it.
Yeah. When you actually look at the side and you're like, this builds like 30 different variants.
And, they even make a mention in the text that you're going to have so many leftover parts that you can rig out your other, and it even makes Chaos Knights.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, they're telling you about all the extra stuff in that box. So, yeah, it's a good box. It's, pricey, but an Imperial Knight army is pricey. So,
As it is wont to be.
yes. And that's about it for New Dawn. We don't have the news at 11 yet because we're recording ugly early today.
Yeah. I had some things to do today, so Bill and I are starting before the birds. So
we started before my chickens woke up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess as is, the custom at the time, we go to creation next.
Okay, let's do that. You want to go first? You want me to go first? What do you want to do?
I guess go first. I don't
Okay.
quite remember all the stuff I talked about last time, but I did mostly paint a Strike Squad and a Nemesis Dread Knight Grandmaster for the 40K narrative that we've been doing, just, a few friends around the shop. I already had my guts painted, that I was going to use as in place of Kaldor Drago.
Right.
So I got that stuff done. I built and painted fully a Land Raider Redeemer, right? That's the flamethrower one.
Yeah.
Like the last 2 days. So I built it Thursday.
Jesus.
I added some extra bits on Friday, but then I primed it and then I painted it all Saturday morning. So what I found is it's very therapeutic to paint a Land Raider because those kinds, like those tanks and things like that, are more akin to terrain.
Yes.
In terms of like the painting process, unless you're, one of those guys. And if you are, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about you. But
sit down.
But it's more akin to that. So that way it's, more dry brush, and then you dry brush a lot. And then you might wash a little bit, but then there's a dry brush, occasionally an edge highlight, then some technical paints, for like the flamethrowers, for the multi-melta, for the stacks in the back. I did the flame pattern on it,
nice.
Blue, purple, sepia, dry brush a little bit of black on the very top just to give it that, burnt look. So did all that, did all the paneling and all the lights, and it was so fun. It was so freaking fun. Also, I didn't have a Land Raider before, and I had never seen one in person. Yours is kind of tucked over in the corner, Bill, but I haven't actually seen it in front of me. Them bastards is big.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that is a piece of terrain you put in front of someone, and they're like, get around it.
Yeah, it's really good line of sight blocking terrain.
It is. And actually, when I went to order the Redeemer, I saw that the normal one was sold out.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, wow, people must be jumping on this with Armor of Contempt, thinking, it's going to win them games or something. I don't know. I just wanted them.
Yeah.
So that was my creation. I did more battling the last few weeks than creation, I think.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay, so for my creation, I'm still crippled in the hand. But I had a very strange experience when I went to pick up my Army Painter Speed Paint Mega set. The set is like $99, and I walked out of Slice and Dice not paying a thing for it.
What?
I just walked out of the store with it because I had so many bonus points that Vic just looked at me and said, yeah, you're good. See ya. I was like, all right. And Mercedes was like, you can't give him that. And he's like, yeah, no, look at all the points. And she was like, yeah, okay. See ya. This might be because I bought the entire Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth.
Yeah.
Everything with all expansions. So, yeah, I spent a couple of dollars there. So, but I'm telling you, the more I use the speed paints and the more I get used to their foibles, the more I am liking them for very specific applications.
Yeah.
And, contrast is my go-to for, bodies and what have you. But for certain things, speed paints are really, really good. And some of their purples are way better.
Yeah.
Way better. And they are a really good complement to contrast. So I don't think they replace it, but they damn sure work well alongside of it. So
Well, that's good.
yeah, it's just, another tool in the toolbox, as it were. Another thing that I ran into was I had a very specific red in mind for my hand ninjas.
Uh-huh.
I was like, okay, I know where I have it. It's in my old Privateer Press P3 paints.
Uh-huh.
So I got that out and I was like, okay, I popped it open and I fully expected to find a brick of paint. And there it was, all just gooey and gloppy and acrylic-y and painty. And I was like, God. So I got all the rest of them out. And I was like, I forgot how much I enjoyed painting with P3 paints. They're so good. And their range is split up into these, for each color, you'll have the base and the highlight.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll even have a shade if it warrants a shade color to go with it. So they kind of have almost like the old Reaper triads mentality, but it makes it super easy and fun. Here's your base paint. Here's what you use to highlight that paint. And of course, it's, I think the big thing when those came out was, oh my God, they use liquid pigments. And, okay, a liquid pigment just means that they mix the binder with the pigment before they put it in, as opposed to all at the same time. So it's not a thing, but they're, you know, if you're looking for some new fun paints, try the P3s. They're good. And in actual creation that matters in the framework of this show, I built, let me see here. What did I build? I built the Warsong Revenant for Sylvaneth.
Okay.
I built Drycha for Sylvaneth. And then I converted up a Branch Wraith because you can't get the Branch Wraith anymore.
Yeah.
And I was not about to pay some of those eBay prices. I'm like, yeah, go pound salt. So I took a Dark Elf Sorceress top and a Dryad bottom and some bits and pieces. And because I think she looked a little too exposed, I put some leaves from the barbed bracken set, or I think it was barbed bracken set.
Yeah.
I use those as kind of like a sort of, you know, it covers your butt, which is where the join was, which is where all the green stuff is. So there's a reason for that. But I also have them on the side, almost like it's kind of a weird fan dance going on.
Yeah.
Sort of a living thing. So, yeah, she's kind of cool. I like her. The pictures are up on Discord if you want to see.
Yeah, they're only mostly creepy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
She's, you know, the idea I have in mind for the Sylvaneth is I'm not going to do that funky colored body. They're going to have mostly kind of flesh colored bodies. They're going to look like elves that are sort of being absorbed into trees, or trees that are sprouting humans or something, you know. I don't want to go for that weird green, because to me the green bodies always made them look like they were Nighthaunt or, you know, ethereal or something, and I didn't like that as much. And the more I've seen people that are doing the flesh type, now mine are going to have a little bit more of a bluish tone because I'm actually going for like a Night Fae from World of Warcraft aesthetic. So, so they're going to be a little bit more blue, but yeah, we'll see. We'll have some fun with it. But that's what I did.
That's great. And I forgot one thing I did too, is I made my custom demon prints that aligns with my Beasts of Chaos. I had some pictures up on Discord, and it's almost completely done. Just have to do the blood drips.
Nice.
But John 3D printed me some skulls, because it was the demon prints was my test run for Be'lakor, who's going to be my next project.
Nice.
You know, chained him to a rock on his back and chained him to a post and gave him Bulgor axes. You know, it was such a freaking kibash. But it was so fun. It was so fun to paint.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I got that done.
Nice. All right, let's move on to battle.
Let's do it.
I'll go first, mostly because mine's going to be really, really simple. In the non-GW world, played 3 games of Legion, and this is going to carry on into our After Dark conversation, which is, it's one thing to get people into the hobby. How do you stop people from getting out of the hobby?
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit in After Dark. The guy I play a lot with is he's ditching Sigmar and 40K completely.
Huh.
And he's still going to do a little bit of Warcry and Kill Team because he doesn't hate those. But he's gone big into Legion. I mean, he's always played Legion, but now he's taking the money that he's getting from selling his armies and sinking it into Legion. So we played 3 games of Legion. Interestingly, Legion is a smaller footprint kind of game, but every game that we played took a part of an evening, as opposed to the AOS game that we played that we ran over 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. And we were kind of trying to think of, is it our unfamiliarity and our non-expertise, or is it just simply that this game just plays faster, Legion does? So, but yeah, I won 2, lost 1, just playing straight out Imperials. I took 1 game with Emperor Palpatine and the Imperial Guard and just blitzed through. It was not funny. It was stupid. When he had his "and now you will die" turn, it was like, oh my God, you've got nothing left. Holy crap, this guy's good. He didn't shoot him enough. He didn't try to put Palpatine down. So he didn't realize the threat he could be. So then the next 2 games, I just played my regular Vader and Shore Troopers and Death Troopers. And, you know, that was a 1-in-1 kind of thing. I won 1, lost 1. So that was fun. And then played a game of Warcry where I was able to get my Splintered Fang.
Splintered Fang.
And Yeah, they did real well. They did. I played against the Unmade. Those are so gross.
I love the Unmates so much.
They are so gross. I love them. It seemed like in that game, everything turned up in my favor. Everything turned in my favor. It was like, wow, what gods did you piss off? So yeah,
there's 4 of them, so you had to pick which one it is.
You had to pick one, and he picked the wrong one. So yeah, it was a fun game. It did actually go to the bottom of 3-ish.
Okay.
Sort of. We had 3 full rounds, but I had blanked him so badly by that point. It was brutal. But that was fun.
I love the Unmade just aesthetically. And I think that there's such a great, like, if you want a unique, what is it? The Blood Cult from Necromunda.
Yeah.
Like, they're perfect for that.
Oh, they're just, a lot of those Warcry warbands have such good utility in other places.
Yeah.
Unmade are one of those warbands that you look at and go, God, I hope they never make this into a faction. Because it makes Slaanesh look appealing,
Yeah, and it's sort of like more that masochistic side of Slaanesh,
Yes.
If you took the sadomasochism to the next level, like they cut their own faces off and torture people and cut their own limbs off.
Put them on their belts. And it's just, wow. But again, it's such a crazy imagining of a cult of people that are weird. And the freedom to do that is awesome. All right, let's hear about your battles.
So I did one narrative 40k battle. It was
Yay.
against orcs. So I had Guts, 5 strike squad with halberds, and Dread Knight against his, 2 units of 12 boys, his mega boss in armor, his banner bearer, and his weird knob.
Yeah.
I generally, trusted him, to tell me like the stuff he's got, and we found out like halfway through the game that he cheated and took 2 relics on his boss.
What?
And I was like, are you serious? Are you serious? It's like, yeah, I know I got the upgrade here and he's got the relic. And then his axe, I finally looked it up and I was like, this axe sounds too powerful for a freaking model like the orc boss in mega armor. And I was like, it says it only does 3 damage and strength +3. And he's like, oh, no, it's the relic. He's like, you can't have 2 relics on the same guy.
Oh, no.
In the Orc Codex. I still ended up winning. It was pretty cinematic, though, which is great for a narrative.
Yeah.
So it came down to literally, he had a knob that was pretty much watching. It was pretty funny. That knob did, nothing the entire game. It was watching, the Guts versus the war boss. Ends up killing the war boss. The only damage that Guts took was because he perils 3 times on Smite. I was like, are you kidding me? Only damage he took.
Oh
otherwise, I've got a 3-up invulnerable save. It doesn't matter. Mortal wounds, you hit me with mortals. Cool. I've got a 5-up on that. No, it was his own perils.
That's
was
just
ridiculous.
Nuts. Especially when you think of perils are kind of hard to hit nowadays, and you managed to do 3 in one game.
And it was all Snake Eyes.
Oh, God.
It was all Snake Eyes. I was like, what's happening?
A couple editions ago, that would have been really bad.
Yeah. Because for my Dread Knight, even, I have never rolled so many 2s in my life. And I was like, the only reason why this wasn't over turn 2 was because my dice rolls are garbage right now.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Obviously I did enough to win, and it took some very interesting play to get it done, but I did. So that was really fun. And then Anders is running to free a god campaign.
Oh my God.
It's on paper, it sounds great. Functionally, when I'm actually in the game, I am just usually salty.
Yeah.
So the general concept of the game is this. There are 3 different factions, so to speak, though no one is actually a friend, apparently. But you have your Seekers who are looking to find clues to break the chains of Slaanesh to free Slaanesh. Then you have the Oathbound who are attempting to find these clues and destroy them before the Seekers can unlock the chains. Then you have the Children of Gur, because this takes place in Gur, who are just there to smash shit.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. So how it works is you can, search for a clue if you control a piece of terrain, right? because it's like they're just hidden in every nook and cranny possible, right? And anyone can find it. But once you roll it on a 5-up, you find the piece, right? Once you find the piece, you get it, and you can read it. There are 3 pieces to each riddle. In the morning, he did 1 riddle. If it wasn't solved by the afternoon, then it carries over, and in the afternoon, there are 2 riddles, right? Nice. So, cool concept. And the Oathbound, they can search for the riddles too, or take them, and then they take them to these holy sites and cleanse them, destroy the riddles.
Nice.
So sounds cool on paper, right? Sounds cool as I described it. The only problem is that depending on what table you're set up at with what players you are set up with, right? And these sort of random on the fly rules that were made up in terms of who goes first, right? Who goes second, who goes third, all that. Before you get a turn, they could find all the riddle pieces.
Oh, shit.
Right? And so then you're like, why am I even playing?
Yeah.
Right? So then I have to try and hopefully teleport through a realm gate to a realm where someone has a riddle, try to kill them, or use triumph and treachery in order to try and get things from them. But if you give them things, they could solve the riddle that way.
Yeah.
So it creates a situation that's an unfun play state, really. Negative play experience. Like the first round, so it was for 3 weekends. I didn't do it this weekend because I was spending time with my wife yesterday. But the first weekend, first game, there are 4 of us at this small table, right? I didn't get a turn for 45 minutes.
Oh, my Lord.
I was literally standing there doing nothing while these 2 experienced players sat there and dirtled like they didn't know how to play their damn armies. So, it's logistically difficult to handle.
It
right?
is. Yeah.
In the end, it was fun. Created some pretty fun moments. Like 3 Bulgor doing 25 wounds to a Mega Gargant after they were charged. Right, not on the charge, they were charged.
Oh my God!
I rolled hot and did 25 wounds to a Mega Gargant. That was such a beautiful thing.
I bet.
It was such a beautiful thing. But it was it was cool seeing everyone there and playing, and it got a lot of people excited for it again,
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that kind of turnout for an AOS event in a long time.
Not in a while.
Because one of the things is for like a little Ever-Chosen thing, we would get points for however many players played, in the event. And I think each time it was like 12 to 14.
Nice.
In that tiny little shop.
Yep.
Like there was like standing room only for the most part. There was like, you can go to like the little hobby area, but seeing everyone like there and, having fun and being invigorated was great. Yep. But of course, after you've been playing for 8 hours, people get testy. And
yes.
So it was good-ish.
I was there at like 4:00 yesterday, and Kai was just starting to deploy the Stormdrake Guard. Oh no. I was like, oh my God. And of course, the unit that he charged, the dude looked at Anders and was like, can I teleport those guys out of there to a different table? How much will that cost? Yeah, there was some salt.
Yeah.
There was some salt when they all of a sudden disappeared. And he was like, well, I guess, okay, that was a waste.
Yeah. It's triumph and treachery, so you get to do so many different things. Like, I'll give you command points to do this. Hey, I'll give you an entire unit if you give me this, So, like, there are ways to, like, try and manipulate your fellow players, But, I mean, it was just, like, random game states and random situations, that would come up. So, there's no real winning it.
No.
But it's fun. And certainly it was a good experiment. Definitely ways to tighten it up.
Sure.
As with any narrative event.
Yeah, you always have to figure out where to make the changes to bring it in line. I know when we first started doing the portals at LVO, they got a little out of hand.
Yes.
We had to rein those in pretty quick.
Yep.
Because it was creating situations for other players that didn't ask for it, that didn't want to be in that.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yeah, it's narratives. I mean, narrative isn't balanced. It's not.
Inherently, it is not.
Yeah.
So.
It's not meant to be balanced. We're going to talk about that when we
oh my gosh, yes.
get to our characters here pretty soon.
That's right.
Because we're going to be talking a little bit about Thondia.
Yes, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to jump head first, but only dip our toes, into Thondia. We're going to leave little bits exposed because we're going to come back to it. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and we are diving into Thondia, except we're not going to touch the lore this week, mostly because we're going to do a show, probably the next show, which is going to be a lore catch-up and a lore overview. And what this book does, basically, it does that. It gives you a complete, if you have read nothing else, you can pick up this book. You go through the entire first, I don't know, what is
50
it?
pages.
50, pages. And boom, you're caught up.
Yeah.
And it's such a great section, and we'll cover why it's so good next time. And fair warning, Doug, I'm going to message you and see if maybe you want to come on and do it with us, because that'd be fun. So, okay. So we are going to dive hard. We're going to talk about the Incarnates, because that's a really neat section. We're going to talk about the realm rules, of course. That's the preface for everything. We're going to hit on open play. Then we're going to dive into the Anvil of Apotheosis, because each one of us created a character just to show the system and what you can do. And then we're going to dive into the narrative, because, man, oh, man, is that the focus of this book or what?
Yes, sir.
And we'll touch on match play, because if you want to know the match play stuff, go to Facehammer, go to Goonhammer, go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many good breakdowns of the scenarios and all the things in match play for Thondia that all we'd be doing is regurgitating what's been said. So, and we'll talk a little bit about the terrain box, and then we'll move on.
All right. Well, I guess we should start with the Incarnates.
I think we should, mostly because it's the first thing they touched on.
Yeah.
So they must think these guys are cool, and there might be a reason.
It's because they're kind of cool.
Oh my God, they're cool.
Right? All right. So Incarnates, I mean, you've probably heard some of this stuff before. We're going to be pretty quick about it.
Yeah.
Just here's the Reader's Digest. So bonding, they're bonded to a hero. They can only be bonded to one hero at a time, and a hero cannot be bonded to more than one incarnate, right?
Right.
And so as long as the incarnate and the hero are alive, we're cool, right? If the hero dies, though, it's no longer bonded, which means that it goes into its wild form, which means just attacking everyone. You still control it.
Yes.
Whoever brought the incarnate, right? You still control it, but it will attack the closest unit.
Yes.
Which is so narrative.
And, you know, the one big thing they're pointing out is you have to remember that in the combat phase, you have to do combat if you can. So the fact that you control this thing does not mean you can choose to not attack your guys.
Yep.
Combat's not optional. Also, there's the Incarnate States. They each start in stage 2.
Yep, the Primal State.
The Primal State. Now, why is this important? Because if you look at their breakdown, they don't have any wounds characteristic, because they don't do wounds.
Yeah.
You literally tally up any wounds that they've taken during a turn, and at the end, you roll 3d6. If you roll under the amount of wounds...
Yeah, if the roll is less than or equal to the number of wounds allocated to the incarnate, its level is reduced by 1.
Yeah.
And all the wounds are healed.
And
so it's sort of like a reverse croak effect.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of the croak in a weird stage. There's 3 states.
Yeah.
You start out in primal, which is 2, which literally means, if you understood what we just said, this thing's going to be on the board for a minimum of 2 turns.
Yeah.
So, and then if you can get it empowered, if you kill a monster, this particular one that comes in this book is the Kronspine Incarnate of Gur. And his empowerment methodology is to slay a monster. And it's worded very meticulously. If a monster is slain by wounds inflicted by this incarnate's attacks, increase the incarnate's level by 1.
Yep.
Which means it's going to last another turn. Interestingly, that means that you can, say you're fighting a behemoth, you can do a majority of the wounds with something else. As long as this guy does the last wound, he goes up a level. And there's also other little monsters that this guy could snicker snack in a combat phase, because he's good.
Oh, yeah.
He's 400 points, and if you take him, he is your only ally. You cannot take anything else. So you can't have this guy and, what's his name, Gortrek.
Yeah.
Which would be stupid.
Right. Oh, I bonded him to Gotrek.
You know what would be really cool is if they turned Gotrek into an incarnate.
Huh.
It would make him so much...
Incarnate of the cities.
Yeah, or,
whatever.
something, or of the old world.
Yeah.
And he's just always pissed off. And he would be empowered every time you mentioned Dwarden.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, that's the general ideas for the Incarnate, right? Now, one of the things that's interesting is that, like, they lay out all this stuff for the Incarnate, but they only give us the Kronspine Incarnate of Gur. It's the only one they printed so far.
Yeah.
Which means that we know we're going to get more, and they're all going to have varied and hopefully useful and fun abilities.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about this, even though it can be used in match play, is it's just narrative through and through and how it operates. And so even when, like, these people will be like, oh, I'm going to bring my Incarnate to my match play game, right? You're going to be playing pretty fluffy. Like, accidentally or incidentally, I should say.
Yeah, just by pure happenstance.
So the Kronspine Incarnate of Gur is 400 points.
Yep.
It's a behemoth. It's single and unique. It can fly. Go into the War Scroll now.
Yeah.
12-inch move, 10 bravery, 4+ save. The one thing I like about this guy, he adds his level to his attack characteristics.
Yes.
So he has 2 attacks. His Vicious Claws, 1-inch range, 6 attacks base, 8 when you start, 3s, -2, 2 damage, Tearing Fangs, 2-inch reach, 1 attack, so 3 base when you just start the game.
Yep.
3s, 2s, -3, 4 damage. He's pretty fighty.
He's very fighty.
Pretty fighty.
Chances are you're not taking him for his fightiness, though.
I mean, he's going to do some work there.
Oh, yeah. He's no slouch.
No.
He's going to earn his 400 points.
Exactly. It talks about the bonding stuff. If the all attack command is received by this Incarnate, the command is also received by all friendly units that are wholly within domination range of the Incarnate, that are within 3 inches of an enemy unit and that have not already received a command in that phase.
Yep.
That's very significant.
Yes.
So it is a way to essentially explode out all-out attack. So this guy's in your front lines. You got units that's domination range starts at 10 inches.
Yeah.
So wholly within 10. Goes up to 12 at empowered, drops to 8 at weakened before it's destroyed.
Yeah.
But you're getting a 10-inch bubble on a, 130 millimeter base? It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Right?
He's no slouch.
Yeah, 10-inch bubble of +1 to hit when you all out attack.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
I mean, think of all the factions. Yeah, there's no faction out there that does not want this.
Yep.
A little bit of a downside with that. He also has Inflamed Savagery, which affects all units that are within his domination range, which is a sliding scale depending on his state.
Yeah.
But the unit's commanding player can re-roll run rolls and charge rolls for the unit.
Nice.
The unit cannot retreat. You're locked in combat once you get in. And if you're a wizard that is not bonded to this Incarnate, you subtract 1 from casting, dispelling, and unbinding. This thing does not like magic. It's going to follow here that it eats magic.
Unless you're bonded to it.
If you're bonded to it, you're safe.
Yeah.
He likes you.
Yes, if you're bonded to it, it's good to that wizard. Now, one thing I was just reading this and it just clicked into my head. So if we look at the bonding part, where what it says is if you issue the all-out attack command, it is issued to every other unit.
Yeah.
You do need to realize that counts as them receiving a command.
Damn straight.
For the attack purposes, right? So when you're doing that, you can't then like, oh, I'm going to all-out defense them. It's like, no, like everyone received all-out attack. It was only 1 command point, but you locked yourself into that command ability for that phase.
This is where you really want to have the markers on the table.
Yeah.
Because you need to keep track, at least in your own head, but preferably visually.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
You want to jump into Arcane Predator?
Yeah. So in your charge phase, if this Incarnate is within 12 inches of an endless spell that was summoned by an enemy wizard, it can attempt to charge. It can make a charge move as long as the charge move finishes within ½ inch of an enemy model or an endless spell that was summoned by an enemy wizard. In addition, this Incarnate can carry out the Devour Endless Spell Monstrous Rampage below instead of any other Monstrous Rampage it can carry out. Now, Devour Endless Spell is good. That's the Monstrous Rampage. But it does have a downside to it. If you do not exceed the casting roll of the Endless Spell and Devour it, you reduce your level by 1.
Yes.
So
you basically failed in your primary purpose.
Exactly. Pick one of the spells then was summoned by an enemy wizard, and that is within 3 inches of this Incarnate, and roll 2d6. Add this Incarnate's level to the roll. If the roll is greater than the casting value of the spell used to summon that endless spell is dispelled, and the level of the Incarnate is increased by 1. On any other roll, the level of this Incarnate is reduced by 1.
So there's a big upside to this. Not only are you getting rid of that umbral spell portal or the cogs or whatever it is that's vexing you, you're also going up a level, which means another turn of incarnateness. But there's also the downside that if you roll like crap, bummer.
Yeah. You have to be very careful with that particular rampage.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be better to have him level up by killing monsters since they're so prevalent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't do it when you're on state 1.
Definitely don't. Yeah, when you're weakened.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a powerful piece. 400 points. I'll have to see, toy around with it a bit to see if it's worth it.
It's all your allies. It's, it's all or nothing. When you take an incarnate, it's all or nothing.
I think it'd be particularly fun in narrative. For a particular game, you have whoever's running the narrative event, just, you get to summon it this turn, like maybe everyone could have one in a list or something, and then you can summon it, but you can't include any allies in that battle,
I can also see this in the current iteration of Night Haunt.
Yeah.
Where they don't have monsters. Now, I mean, we know that book is on the horizon, so that should probably be taken care of shortly, but he's going to be almost as useful as bringing like Drog or bringing in Nagash.
Yeah.
And this guy's cheaper than Nagash.
It's true.
And he will have a very large impact on the game because he does have that smashing melee attacks, and he has the ability to help you with the spell department. So, or at least defend against spells.
Or both. I mean, depending on what you're doing, And it doesn't restrict the type of hero that can be bonded to either, right? So, I mean, I'm thinking bonded to Olinder.
Yeah.
Giving her +2 her spell.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I'll take that all day. And like you said, it's Night Haunt. They're, in a way, somewhat more resilient in certain regards.
Yep.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
he can be a very interesting addition to a matched play game.
Yeah.
Although, if your army's capable of knocking down a giant, you are going to wear this dude down.
Yeah.
And he will be around for 2 turns, and then 400 points leaves the table.
Yeah.
If, however, you offer him free monsters, then learn to play better. I'm sorry. You have to be careful how you play with and against this guy.
Well, it's interesting because without it leveling up, you have to kill it twice, so to speak.
Yep.
I mean, that can be a really bad roll on your, opponent's part. But if he rolls hot, it could be that you don't kill it for multiple turns.
And the average on 3d6 is 11. So you're looking at having to do pretty much 12 wounds a turn to this guy.
Yep.
Now, it's not like he's got an amazing save. He's got a 4-up. So, I mean, you can get wounds on him.
Yeah.
But you have to work at it. You can't just... This is not a distraction piece.
No.
You need to fight him.
Well, I'm even imagining you're like, all right, I'm going to throw everything into it. Because, that's what you usually do. The big threat, I throw everything into it. I should kill it this turn, right? This thing, you're like, you knock it down, and then it's like, now I fight back.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. I'm still here. Yeah.
And it's at the end of the turn, too. So even if it's in its primal state, you charge everything in, you wallop it, do a ton of damage. It's like, I haven't leveled down yet. Blam.
Yeah.
Right? I'm pretty sure it's going to earn its points back,
yes.
But I like to play with it a little bit more.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the Incarnate, but we got some realm rules
Oh, God,
for Thondia. So
now let's preface this real quick. And in the bold print at the top, it says specifically, players can also agree to use any of them in any battle if they wish to do so.
Yep.
Some battle plans require you to use certain roles. Like, when you get into the open play, there's twist roles that say you have to use Monstrous Denizens.
Yeah.
So, but all of these you can pick and choose. So don't feel like you either take it all. And again, this is one of the big things of this book. Everything is may or can. Very little of this book is you must.
That's why it's narrative. That's why it's so good. We've got 4 different realm rules plus the mysterious terrain.
Yeah.
I'll kick it off with Realm Sphere Magic. We already know this, but all wizards know the following spell in addition to any others. It's Metamorphosis, casting value of 5, range of 12. Pick a friendly hero that's not a monster, and they become a monster until your next hero phase.
I love that.
Yeah.
Such a great spell. And everybody knows it in Cure.
It's true.
And so, it's another one of those that's going to level the playing field. So for those armies that don't have a lot of monsters inherent, boom, one of your heroes is a monster.
And we have Feral Roar, which is, and we're familiar with this already from the battle pack, but it's the command ability that makes a monster fight at the top of its bracket.
Yes.
Right. Fantastic. It's just good.
Super huge.
Yeah.
As some of these monsters go down, they get significantly weaker. And to be able to fight at the top of your... Oh, that is so good. Especially the ones that heal based on the damage they do. Next up, you have Monstrous Denizens. This is kind of a long one, but it's after the battle's been set up, but before territories have been assigned, the players roll off. The winner can set up one monster within 3 inches of the center of the battlefield. This model is referred to as a Monstrous Denizen. Any monster from any faction can be chosen. It is not part of either player's army. At the start of the round, before determining priority, the players roll off. In that battle round, the winner of the roll-off treats the Monstrous Denizen as a unit in their army, and their opponent treats it as an enemy unit. And then they go on to talk about if it's mounted, how you handle that. And it also specifically states an incarnate can be chosen as the Monstrous Denizen. Yep. If it is, it starts the battle in its wild state. So basically this monster is going to be flip-flopping between players.
Oh, yeah.
And just causing mayhem.
I love it.
So here's the deal. Narrative all the damn time.
Yep.
Match play, no. So, and
It'd be funny, though.
it would be funny. However, when you're at a reasonably large tournament, I could see this not ever being acceptable.
So, kind of rewind back to the battle stuff because I forgot about this part. But they were roaming monsters and roaming endless spells in the narrative campaign, right? Which made it really interesting trying to fight each other and search things while you're trying to hold off,
wandering monsters,
gnashing jaws. But the true terror of the tables, the scourge, was the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage.
Oh my God, yes.
So
Jesus.
This poor dude. So we had them set up in a certain way. He teleports over to our table and he teleports an inch closer to the Bloodthirster. So it moves to the closest unit.
Oh,
the Bloodthirster charges into his units. And that's the one where if you roll any 6s to wound, it splashes mortal wounds for 8 inches.
Jesus Christ.
So, it's like, all right, turn player, go ahead and roll for it, right? 3 6s to wound.
Oh my God.
Half of his Stormcast army just disappeared.
Yeah.
I was just like,
oh God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Could you imagine that? Just having a Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage just flying around, chopping everything?
That's brutal.
How do you have to kill it or it's going to kill one of you? I mean, I guess if it's killing your opponent, you're like, cool.
Yeah.
It's whatever. But when I saw that happen, I was like, holy crap, man, I'm sorry.
That is so brutal.
Yeah, and he's like, I have Hammers of Sigmar saves. No, it still didn't matter.
Yeah, it's not going to help you.
That was 12 mortal wounds to every unit within 8 inches.
Oh, Jesus.
I was like, dear God.
I'm so glad I'm not that dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So I could say it makes it really fun for that to happen. And I think what could be really fun too is if you have a third person who may be watching or something, have them control it.
Right.
So it has more dynamic things. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's a neat little role. It's a neat little flavor thing. Like I said, it's going to be great in open and narrative play. I would not even begin to use this in any kind of competitive format.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just playing a match play game for fun, you might want to do it just for giggles.
Yeah.
But if you're playing for any kind of thing with a stated prize, I don't think that it's too variable. It's too
I agree.
Around the world. You want to cover terrain?
Yeah. Oh, I love terrain rules.
Oh, God.
I don't think we'll use terrain rules enough. And when they do, they forget about them most of the time. But terrain rules makes it really interesting, and how you interact with the world around you. Again, more narrative, but also I think helps develop another layer of strategy into playing a game. It's not just I move forward, I shoot you with my dragon breath, and I charge, and I slash you with my dragon claws, right? It's, are you going to end up near something and, oh, that didn't go well for you, it chipped off the mortal wounds that you need in order to kill that one model. So what you do is you roll on the terrain table for each piece of terrain. And then the Thondia mysterious terrain has 6 options on a d6. Who would have thought? So one, surprisingly ordinary. Roll again and look up the results in the mysterious terrain table in the section 28.1.3 of the core rules, because don't forget there are still terrain rules in the core rules.
Yes, they are there.
If you get a 2, you get Thrashing Gnarl Oak Roots. Each time a unit is set up or finishes a normal move, run, retreat, or charge move within 1 inch of any terrain features with this rule, roll a dice. On a 1, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So it's kind of like a Wildwood situation.
Yeah.
And by the way, some of these terms we're going to get into when we do the lore section and stuff. This next one is freaking horrific when you look at the picture, but it's Itcher Moss. Each time a unit is set up or finishes a normal move, run, retreat, or charge move within 1 inch of any terrain feature with this rule, roll a dice. On a 1, that unit is infested with Itcher Moss. For the rest of the battle, add 1 to charge rolls for the unit and add 1 to hit rolls for the unit made with melee weapons by that unit, but subtract 1 from casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls for that unit, subtract 1 from save rolls for attacks that target that unit, and subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with missile weapons by that unit. A unit cannot be infested with Itcher Moss more than once. So
Thank God.
it's kind of making you go like a little berserk.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're just throwing it all to the wind and just charging in and trying to do your damnedest. 4 is the Barbed Snifferweed Spheres. In your shooting phase, you can roll a dice for each terrain feature with the scenery rule. On a 6, you pick 1 enemy unit within 2d6 inches of that terrain. That enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds.
That's kind of super interesting terrain you can use. So it's the first time I've seen something like that in terrain rules.
Yeah, it's sort of like these giant pollen spheres just like float out and just stab people.
And yeah, you can make an attack for you. That's cool.
It's cool. And both players get to use it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gurish Realmstone Deposit. While they were wholly within 6 inches of any terrain features with this rule, units are filled with Bestial Fury. Add 1 to charge rolls for those units and add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by those units, but subtract 1 from casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls for those units, subtract 1 from save rolls for attacks that target those units, and subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with missile weapons by those units.
So it's basically Itcher Moss again.
It is Itcher Moss, but it's just when you're within 6 inches instead of, do you roll a dice and get infected by Itcher Moss, right? I love it.
And the thing, Itcher Moss is for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Whereas Realmstone is just while you're within 6.
You're just going crazy because you're near it. And the last one, Wellspring of Primordial Energy. While they are within 3 inches of any terrain features with this rule, wizards know the Wild Form spell and can attempt to cast it in addition to any other spells they can attempt to cast. Wild Form is a spell with a casting value of 5 and a range of 12 inches. If successfully cast, pick a friendly unit within range and visible to the caster. Add 2 to charge rolls and run rolls made for that unit you picked until your next hero phase.
So arcane terrain it's friends with benefits.
Yeah.
It's arcane with benefits. You're going to park your wizards on that stuff and go.
Yeah. I mean, as a Beast player, I'm looking at that stuff like, I love everything I see here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, very cool realm rules. I love the fact that they're really punching up and giving it its own separate terrain table.
Yeah.
So it's going to capture the feeling of being in Gur. This is what it should be like. I can't wait to see some of the other realms fleshed out like this. It's going to be so much fun.
I agree.
So we're not going to touch on open play all that much other than to say open play. This section is just like the one in the core book. It's just like the one in the General's Handbook, except it has differences on the tables as to what things do. Yep. There's a couple of different map setups, and there's different victories in the victory table. And of course, the twists and the ruses are much, much, much different because they reflect Gur. And there's an arcane prize table. So as you're playing series of games, you can get some interesting stuff.
Yes, sir.
I like it. It's very nice. So basically, to sum up, if you're just going to play a pickup game, there's no reason not to play open play with all the different options, both in the core book, the General's Handbook, and now the Thondia Battle Pack. It's name your flavor. You can have so much fun with that.
I also think it's like just good experience generally too. I mean, I know so many folks focus on the match play. I mean, that's what a majority of like podcasts and stuff are about, right? Yeah. But the open play lets you flex your like strategic creativity.
Yes.
Because you're thrown into a situation that you can't predict. I've played this 1,000 times. I know exactly my strategy for Vice or whatever.
Yeah.
This is like, well, random setup, random victory condition, right? Can you handle it?
Along with twists and ruses and generally speaking, mayhem on the battlefield. Yeah, it'll stretch your chops a little bit. So definitely a good decision. I don't think open play gets near the attention it deserves. And honestly, I think it's people don't think of it when they're just setting up to play a quick game.
No.
So it's definitely something to look at. But the big thing now for us, the Thondia Path to Glory Battle Pack, which is the narrative play section of the book.
And I just want to reiterate, this is the core of what this book is.
Yeah.
Like I just double checked it. It's approximately like 35-ish pages.
Yeah.
That is devoted purely to narrative play, right?
Yeah.
There's a good chunk in there that's Anvil of Apotheosis. But
Yeah.
you know, like the lore itself, like I said, is about 50.
Yeah.
Right. The next biggest size is the narrative portion when we're diving into the Thondia Path to Glory Battle Pack.
Yep.
Which is an expansion upon the already established Path to Glory process, right?
And a really welcome expansion. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's got a great just setup at the beginning. It's the following battle pack allows you to fight Path to Glory battles in Thondia. Winning a battle in Thondia will allow you to establish an outpost from which you can send out exploratory expeditions. So this is the first thing, is the ability to establish an outpost.
Which, you know, was kind of a thing that was in the core rule book and never really expanded upon. You know, you can have X many of outposts. Okay, what does that mean? Why would I want an outpost? Well, now you know.
Now we're starting to understand all those things we said were predictive of, you know, future product.
Yep.
Right. And this is interesting because it keeps kind of hinting at that too. It says, in order to use this battle pack, both you and your opponent must have a completed Path to Glory roster. Duh. You can use this battle pack as well as, or instead of, any other Path to Glory battle packs. Mm-hmm. And you can use different Path to Glory battle packs for any of the battles that you fight with your Path to Glory army, right? So what I like about this is, in terms of what I think it's going to do for narrative coming up, is, you know, we're going to have Thondia, you know, then we'll have, who knows, you know, what's next, an Ulgu expansion or something,
sure.
You know.
Or maybe Shaiish, or, you know, who knows?
And so you'll be able to actually like maybe have like this adventure type thing where you're taking like small forces of battle, like through all these different places trying to hunt something down, you know? Similar to like perhaps like the narrative we just did.
Yeah.
Free God, you had like 4 or 5 different tables and you would teleport to different places to try and do the things, right?
And so now, you know, you may have an outpost in Thondia. You may also have an outpost in the next book that comes out. Who knows what it might be, but
yeah.
So you're going to have a much wider range of options to choose from.
So let's look at establishing an outpost. If you win a battle using this battle pack, you can establish an outpost in Thondia, as long as it does not cause you to exceed the maximum number of outposts you're allowed to have. You can have up to 1 outpost if you have a stronghold, up to 2 outposts if you have an imposing stronghold, and up to 3 if you have a mighty stronghold. The outpost is established in the territory you generate in step 6 of the Aftermath sequence. If you cannot or do not wish to add that territory to your roster, then you cannot establish the outpost. If you do decide to establish the outpost, add a note beside that territory on your roster saying it is a Thondian outpost when you add it to your roster. Outpost benefits. If you have a Thondia outpost on your roster, you can pick Thondia veteran abilities, Prime Monster abilities, and Thondia territories, and you can mount Thondia scouting expeditions as described on page 70. You can do so in the Aftermath sequence of any future battle, even one for which you did not use this battle pack.
Yay.
So you can gain some benefits from Thondia, and I think what it's hinting at is that once they have all these battle packs out, you'll want to establish outposts in the various, you know, different realms and areas so you can access the different abilities.
And sure, and probably there's going to be enough differences between them that it's going to be a hard choice. You're not just going to be like, okay, I have one in Thondia, one in blah, blah, blah. No, you have a defined limit of what you can have, and hopefully, you know, when this is completely fleshed out, you'll have some hard choices to make, which is good.
It is definitely good.
So then they go into the points limits, which are pretty much the same. And then faction terrain, which is pretty much just a retelling of the fact that you can do faction terrain with this battle pack. Yes, you can. Okay, thank you.
Very clearly states, though, that you can use War Scroll battalions and core battalions in your army.
Yes.
It's not limited to like a match play function. It's a core rule function, right?
Right.
But it also means that the ones that are in match play later in this book, you can then use here. There's also some War Scroll battalions that look pretty spicy, depending on the armies that you're using.
Oh, yeah.
So that's great. And then you have the Path to Glory battle plans. There are 6 that are in this book alone.
Yes. 6 new scenarios.
You have all the ones in the publications that have come out, and you have the ones in the core rules. So you've got a lot of narrative to work with here.
And, just, hey, GW, either make a PDF or even make a small book with all of these in them for easy reference. That would be super cool. Or just, separate them all out as PDFs and put them on the website somewhere for me to download, because that'd be super helpful.
Yeah, just saying. We could have a separate section of the application that's already in development, right?
Ooh.
Specifically for narrative.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be great if it also had like a narrative tracker too, so you can build and complete your narrative campaigns? And GW, this is money right now.
Yeah.
You're probably already in development. I'm probably already talking about something that's coming down the pike. But, just like if you developed, even if it's a separate app, but like a very specific narrative tracker that was made in order to allow Path to Glory players to interact with the app a little bit more. Yes, that'd be really great. You could upload this stuff in there. That has like the different maps, the different outcomes, because that can inform how certain things proceed forward.
Yep.
Lets you track your territories and things like that.
How much you've upgraded them, and if you've upgraded them. It would be so nice to have it.
Have it as part of the subscription package.
Sure.
There you go.
I'll give you money.
Yeah. To be able to track that? Oh, yeah. All day. There's one special rule. Well, I guess they're all kind of special, but one specific special rule, which is Beast Slayer. If you have a hero kill a monster, it can issue the all-out attack without spending a command point, and even if it's already done so, which is just very thematic, kill the giant monster, and then it's just like, shouting forward, the men just like rally and attack.
And it's doubling down on that monstrous, this is Gur.
Yeah.
You can't just kill a monster and go, hey, we did it, let's relax. No, it's on to the next.
Yeah.
So...
they don't stop.
Yeah.
They don't stop. So we get 2 Thondia quests, one of which is going to be very important for what we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Okay, these are both horrifically cool quests.
Oh, yeah. So the quest for Incarnate, bonding with an Incarnate, is no easy task. The elemental ritual that creates the bond can only be carried out if certain requirements have been met and must be sealed upon the field of battle. Pick one hero on your roster and write their name down in the quest rewards section of your quest log. At the end of each Path to Glory battle, add 1 quest point to the progress section of your quest log if any enemy heroes were slain by attacks made by the hero you picked, or if any enemy heroes were slain by mortal wounds caused by the hero's abilities, a spell cast by that hero, or prayer chanted by that hero.
So yeah, if you kill something.
Yeah.
And then they just list the ways to kill.
If your hero kills the thing. Once you've gained 3 or more quest points, you can complete this quest. When you complete this quest, you can add a Kronspine Incarnate of Gur to your order of battle that is bonded to the hero you picked when you embarked on this quest. If that hero is removed from your order of battle, the Incarnate is also removed.
Notice it doesn't say spend the points and gain an Incarnate, or spend X glory, or spend X. No, it says, you do this and you get an Incarnate. Oh my freaking God. Okay. Wow.
And it doesn't seem to limit the number of Incarnates that you can obtain over time. That's going to have to be something that the person running the campaign does.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have to limit it to 1.
Right? Because if you have like 3 super fighty heroes, like, here's my Manfred. Manfred goes through and like assassinates 3 people. Then he has an Incarnate flying around with him. And then you have, your Vlazda going in and killing 3 heroes. And he's got an Incarnate with him,
I have a 2,000 point army. Oh, and I have 1,200 points of Incarnates too. Oh, God. Right. I would not play that game.
1,200 points of Incarnates is also like $600. So
sure. Yeah. But, I'm hoping we'll get into that kerfuffle after this. Next up, the next quest you have is, and I wonder if they did this with tongue in cheek, because the quest name is Hero Quest.
They did.
So you've heard rumors of powerful new champion whose exploits are becoming the stuff of legend. If you can track them down, you may be able to convince them to join your army. So this, to me, is the defining feature of this book. I love it so much. I just wanted to cry.
Yeah.
So you write down in your quest log the number of destiny points you wish to spend on an Anvil of Apotheosis hero. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, or 40 destiny points. Okay, this is basically destiny points are the ones you use to build your hero.
Yep.
So my thought, well, let me read the rest of it. At the end of each Path to Glory battle, add 1 quest point to the progress section of your quest log for each friendly unit wholly within your opponent's territory. In addition, at the end of each Path to Glory battle, you can spend 1 glory point to add 1 additional quest point. You complete this quest when you have 1 quest point for every 5 destiny points you wish to spend on your hero. You may then create your hero using the Anvil of Apotheosis and add them to your order of battle. I think that is actually flip-flopped. You're going to want to build the hero you want and then figure out what you need to spend and then start that quest. But, that's procedural. I'm sure everyone figured that one out. It's not hard. You are going to have so much fun with this quest, and it is super obtainable. All you have to do is spend a glory point for 1 quest point and add 1 quest point to the progress section for each friendly unit wholly within your opponent's territory. So that's well within your control during a game. Now, if you're getting your butt handed to you, maybe it's not, but it's so thematic and it's so, it just works.
I love it.
And when we get to the Anvil of Apotheosis, you're going to see, we built 2 different heroes using that, and we'll get to it more later. But I built a 20 point, Josh built a 40 point, and you were literally having issues with what to spend your points on because you didn't want to make it too stupid.
Yeah.
So, this is just a great, and remember, folks, this is narrative. It's just so cool.
Oh, it's so fun.
So, we're going to get to Anvil of Apotheosis here shortly, but right now, you want to jump through the veteran abilities that you can get if you're Thondia outpostable?
Yeah. So if you're outpostable, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, look at that. Veteran abilities. First one's Beast Slayers. This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle when it is picked to fight in the combat phase. If it does so until the end of that phase, add 1 to the damage characteristic of melee weapons used by that unit for attacks that target a monster.
Woo! Hey, that's kind of themey for Gur. It's not for everybody, but if you fight a monster,
I mean, that's spicy as heck.
It really is. It's really good.
I'm just thinking of throwing that on some Bulgor. But anyway, Experience Rangers. Oh, sorry, I didn't read the special little text for it. So Beast Slayers. Fighting against the beasts that inhabit the Gurish wilderness has taught these warriors how to defeat even the most fearsome of creatures. All right, that was for Beast Slayers. Experience Rangers. Years of experience forging paths through Thondia has transformed these warriors into expert scouts. This unit can use its veteran ability once per battle to start the first hero phase of the first battle round. If it does so, the unit can make a normal move or run. Jesus.
Oh, that is so... for somebody like me that makes deployment mistakes, that is such a big thing. I love that ability. Love it.
Yeah, just in the hero phase, I'm running.
Yeah.
Dear goodness.
Yeah, doesn't count against you.
Just running.
Yep.
Grit. Life in the harsh environments of Thondia is toughened these warriors. This unit can use this ability once per battle and is picked as the target of an attack. If it does so until the end of that phase, it has a ward of 6+. That's pretty good.
Is that not strong? No, that's strong.
That's pretty strong. Yeah. Eagle Eyes. The veterans of dozens of fights in the Gurish wilderness know that often he who strikes first also strikes last.
I love that.
This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle in your shooting phase. When it's picked to shoot, add 6 inches to the range characteristic of that unit's missile weapons until the end of that phase.
Bonkers. I'm talking Kurnoth Hunters. I'm talking Long Strikes. I'm talking Sentinels. That's ugly.
Bolt Boys.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, because you have the Bolt Boys, because if they move, they go to the 12-inch shot, which is actually 15. With this, it becomes 21 inches, which is almost the exact same range they had before.
Where they were, yeah. So,
oh boy.
Happy day.
Savage Instinct. Living in Gur has imbued these warriors with a feral energy that has made them particularly savage. This unit can use the veteran ability once per battle to start the combat phase if it made a charge move in the same turn. The strike first effect applies to that unit until the end of that phase.
Ooh. We are seeing a lot more strike first, strike last rules in the last couple of battle tomes, and then now here in the battle pack. That's becoming more and more of a thing.
Yeah, what they call them, the activation wars.
Yeah, this could become very, very big.
Yeah. Last one of the veteran abilities, Battle Frenzy. In the heat of battle, these ferocious warriors are sometimes overcome with battle fury, lashing out at their foes like crazed beasts with no thought for their own safety. This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle in the combat phase. If it does so until the end of that phase, add 1 to the attack characteristic of this melee's weapon unit, but add 1 to hit rolls for attacks that target this unit. So you get an additional attack, but you're going crazy, so it's easier to hit you. So
yeah, I mean, those are all really nice, I think, thematically accurate veteran abilities. I'm just absolutely loving it. All right, we're going to jump into the Prime Monster abilities.
Oh, yeah.
What are Prime Monster's ability, Bill? You've never mentioned those before. Well, let me tell you. So if you add a monster to your order of battle in Step 7 of the Aftermath sequence, and you have a Thondian outpost, it's key, you can make a Prime Monster roll. On a 5-up, you get to choose a Prime Monster ability from the list recorded on your roster. You can only give one unit a Prime Monster ability in each Aftermath sequence, and a unit cannot have more than one Prime Monster ability. These are super, super fun and themey in a big way. The caveat here is Prime Monster abilities can only be used in battles to which all players are using Path to Glory armies. Makes sense.
Yep.
In addition, no more than one friendly unit can use a Prime Monster ability per turn. So you're not going to be stacking these up.
Yeah.
So I'll do the first three. You can have the last three.
Sure.
First one is Terrifying Roar. This beast can let out a mighty bellowing roar that robs nearby foes of their wits, which would be me. This unit can use the Prime Monster ability once per battle at the start of the Battle Shock phase. If it does so, subtract 3 from the Bravery characteristic of enemy units within 12 inches of this unit until the end of that phase. This is coming straight off the characteristic.
Yeah.
This is flipping huge.
Yeah.
Your Death Army that never really cares about Battle Shock is now sitting on a 7.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it cares deeply. Next up, Wild Nature. I'm sorry, what?
I said spicy.
Oh, it is. It's good. Wild Nature. Raised in the heartlands of Gur, this ferocious creature now rampages across all of the mortal realms. This unit can use Prime Monster ability once per battle at the end of the charge phase. If it does so, this unit can carry out a monstrous rampage in addition to any other monstrous rampages carried out by other friendly units in that phase. Super strong. You get more monstrous rampages. And then Monstrous Constitution. Over time, this unit has grown tougher and tougher and now has the ability to recover from even the most grievous of wounds. This unit can use Prime Monster ability at the start of your hero phase, once at the start of your hero phase. If it does so, you can heal up to D3 wounds allocated to the unit. On a monster profile, D3 isn't always big, but if it's going to push you a band, oh, is that awesome.
Yeah, because sometimes you just get incidental chip damage for being a monster.
Sure.
Maybe that helps just sort of keep that at bay. But
Yep.
if they're also a hero,
Yeah.
then you can heroic recovery.
Yep.
And then you D3. So
Yep.
that's kind of nasty on like a great unclean one.
Or, just about, anything.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Well, yeah, because great unclean ones,
Yeah.
don't they heal D3 anyway?
Yeah,
Are you ever going to kill that thing? It heals like, what, 3D3
They're gonna
every
heal-
other turn?
Yeah. And then for the different neural maws. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just don't even try to kill him anymore.
Yeah. Just kite around. It's got a 4-inch move. It's not going anywhere. Fearsome. When wounded, this monster can draw upon its great ferocity to lash out through the pain. Sounds like my life. No, okay. This unit can use its Prime Monster ability once per battle at the start of the combat phase. If it does so until the end of that phase, when you look up at the value on the unit's damage table, it's treated as having suffered 0 wounds. That's right.
So another method to go to the top of the brackets. Very nice.
Spend a command point, though.
Yeah.
Maybe if you need to do it on 2 different monsters.
Yeah.
Crushing Bulk. This weighty beast can brush aside its foe and crush them to death with its enormous bulk. This unit can use the Prime Monster ability once per battle to start the movement phase if it is within 3 inches of any enemy units. Until the end of that phase, if it retreats, it can do so as if it had fly. In addition, after it finishes the retreat, roll a dice for each enemy unit that has any models it passed across. On a 4-up, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
That's pretty spicy.
So yeah, when you landlock that giant or that Frost Lord on Thundertusk or Stonehorn,
They just trample through everything.
yeah, they're just like, okay, eat me. And then most of those can run and charge.
Interesting, too, because it doesn't have a restriction on the type of model it does damage to.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just charge through a Gargant to the other side if you needed to. I'm thinking like Maw Crush is just charging through lines. I love it.
Yeah, it's so thematic.
So the last one is the Scent of Blood. As time has passed, the bloodthirsty monsters become more and more ferocious, so that now just the scent of blood can turn it into a deadly killing machine. This unit can use the Prime Monster ability once per battle in the combat phase. If it does so until the end of that phase, add 1 hit rolls and wound rolls for For attacks made by this unit that target an enemy unit that has any wounds allocated to it.
Oh my God.
So if you're taking a little bit of damage, then there's blood in the water.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's blood in the water.
Yeah.
You are so toast. Oh my Lord. All right, the next section they bring up is the Thondian territories. Again, if you have a Thondian outpost and make an exploration roll of 61 to 66 in the aftermath sequence, you can use the Thondian territories table rather than any other territories table, and these are so good. Of course, you know, you have to roll that 60. So these aren't going to be coming up all the time unless you manage to get that one that says you get a 6 no matter what you do.
Yep.
So under the territories, we'll do the same thing. I'll do the first 3. You do the next.
Sounds good.
All right. On a 61, you get a primeval wilderness. A primal wilderness dominated by bloody-minded might. Gur belongs to predators of every stripe. You can never have more than one territory of this type. If you have it, increase your monster limit by 2. Oh my God. Upgrade it for 10 glory points, and it becomes prime hunting grounds. At that point, you add 2 to the prime monster rolls. So you're going to get something off that prime monster table that we just went over on a 3-up.
I love it.
Oh my God.
I love it.
It's terrible. I love it. On a 62, you get the Wellspring of Primordial Energy. The power of primordial magic hangs heavy on the air in this territory, healing those who have suffered injury in bloody combat. You can never have more than one territory of this type. In step 3 of the aftermath sequence, you can roll a die for one unit that has a casualty score above 0. On a 2-up, reduce its casualty score by 1. Very nice. If you upgrade it for 10 glory points, it becomes a Gurish Temple. Now, on a 2-up, you reduce the unit's casualty score by D3 instead of 1.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, those are really, really nice.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. On a 63, you can do a Collapsed Ruins. Hidden in this territory are ruins of a once mighty city. It's the perfect location for the foundation of a new settlement. Duh. This territory has no effect until upgraded. Uh-oh. You upgrade it for 5 glory points, and it becomes an imperiled stockade. Increase your unit limit by 3 to a maximum of 30. Okay, I'll take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Cool. Well, 64 is Grinding Mountains. Mountains claw at the sky, grinding their way slowly across the plains to engage rival peaks in earth-shaking contests of strength. The aftermath of these battles can reveal vast deposits of realm stone.
Oh, that sounds like good.
You can never have more than one territory of this type. In step 1 of the aftermath sequence, you must roll a dice called a Grinding Mountain roll. On a 1, you must check to see if you lose an upgraded territory. See below. On a 2 to 3, nothing happens. On a 4+, you receive a number of glory points equal to the Grinding Mountain roll. Downgrade Gurish territory. This territory can never be upgraded. However, if a Grinding Mountain roll is a 1 and you have any upgraded territories from this territories table, then you must pick one and its upgrade is removed.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
So Grinding Mountains is a tough one because on a 1, 2, or 3, on a 1, it's really bad.
Yeah.
On a 2 or 3, but 4, 5, and 6 is like, hey, free glory. Yay. Yeah. I'll take that, but the downside is so down.
Yeah, it's a little rough. 65 is City of Bones. Pick an allied faction. You can add up to 3 allied units. This territory is home to an allied settlement whose walls are formed of scavenged bones that tower over mortal warriors. Pick an allied faction. You can add up to 3 allied units from that faction to your roster, even if this would exceed your allied units limit. Pretty good.
That's really, really good.
Upgrade for 5 glory. Trusted Comrades. When you pick an army, you can choose a hero from this allied faction as the general of your army.
That could be stupid good.
I think there's some combo potential there.
Especially when you're looking at some of the crossovers that you cannot do in match play, but you would really love to try, like having your Makrasha with your Cruel Boys. That could be really fun if you're looking at adding, like, using a Makrasha to lead a whole bunch of Cruel Boys.
Yeah.
Or, and not having to go to Big Wa.
Yeah.
So this could be, it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really could be. Yeah, I'm going to think about that one for a while. 66 grasping bogs. Several nascent settlements have been swallowed up by these grasping bogs. The fate of their inhabitants best left unconsidered. The bogs remain rich in realmstone deposits or treasures long buried that have drifted to the surface. Though to retrieve them, one must survive the giant arthropods, flesh-eating plants, and slimy monstrosities that haunt the mires.
Sounds so much like Nurgle.
Sounds like Grr. You can never have more than one territory of this type. In Step 3 of the Aftermath sequence, you can pick one unit on your order of battle to be sent to this territory to search for Realmstone or long-lost artifacts. If you do so, roll 2d6, called the Delve roll. Add 1 to the roll if the unit is a hero. On a 2-6, you must make an injury roll for that unit if it is a hero, or you must increase its casualty score by d3 if it is not a hero. On 7 and 9, nothing happens. On 10 to 11, you receive d6 glory points.
Jesus.
On a 12+, you receive d6 glory points and can pick one artifact of power that your faction has access to and add it to your vault. Upgrade, 15 glory. Secret pathways. You can re-roll the Delve roll.
That's stupid. I love it. Oh my God, that's good.
Yeah, that's
wow.
High risk, high reward situation right there.
Really is. Okay, so next up, they have a thing that you can do in Step 3 of the Aftermath sequence called a Thondia Scouting Expedition. You can pick one unit on your order of battle that was not included in your army in the battle. So you have to have somebody that was on a rest. Send it on a scouting expedition. This unit is referred to as a scout unit in the rolls that follow. If you send them on a scouting expedition, roll a die called the expedition roll and look up what it encountered. And there's an expedition table right next to this. You can re-roll the dice if the scout unit has a move characteristics of 12 inches or more. So it might behoove you to save some of your flyers. I don't know. But on the expedition table, on a 1, it's barrens, 2, it's mountains, 3, it's sea, 4, it's wildwood, 5, it's swamp, and 6 is a special that needs another die roll. And then underneath it, I don't think we'll read all of this stuff. It tells you what happens in each area. So, for instance, if you got a barrens, you would roll a die on a 2-up, the expedition's a failure. On a 1, the scouts come across a rampaging gargant, and this is a theme that's repeated through most of these. On a 1 to 5, you increase the casualty score by D3. On a 6, it slays the gargant and earns D3 renown. And most of these are some variation of that, except when you get into you rolled a 6 and you get into the storm vaults and the realm gates. Yeah. That's when you get some bonuses, but we won't read them out because they're in the book.
Yeah, it reminds me sort of the like RPGs where you can send your companions off to go do quests for you. Yeah, it's like the same thing.
Yeah, and it's just there's an upside, but then you also might just end up getting casualty points put on that unit. So
then the next part of it is the 6 battle plans we talked about.
Yep.
But after that.
Oh, wait a minute. What's this? A new Anvil of Apotheosis?
Oh, yes. And they sort of consolidated all the anvils that they had put out there. They had like one for chaos and one for destruction. Yes. This has pretty much everything that you would look to.
And honestly, it's a much better framework as well. I like this because they can just take this, lift it, and then add to it for the next one. So really great setup for the Anvil of Apotheosis. It's an outline format, so you just basically follow the steps. You're going to pick a destiny limit for your hero, a destiny point limit, and everything costs destiny points. So if you want to bring a Stormcast, it's going to cost you quite a few destiny points, but they're 5 points. If you want to take a Dragon Ogre, that's 10 points. Yep. If you want to take a Bone Splitter Orc, it's only 3. A Vampire is 4, a Skink is 4, a Sylvaneth is 4. So, you're going to pay for the basic abilities that these guys have. And of course, each one of them comes with their normal little wheel of stats with their moves, save, bravery, and wounds, which are kind of a mirror of what that faction is. Then you choose an ancestry.
So one thing's on the characteristic enhancements. We were talking about this before, and we didn't see it initially. But you can take enhancements up to 3 times, but if you get an ability, you can only take it once.
That's right, yes.
So that's one of the things to keep in mind here. And we don't necessarily have to go through everything here, but
no.
Think of this as like, what did you want to make? Did you have an idea for a hero or something that you wanted to create? And it's not going to be terribly OP. There's ways to do that. You can probably make a foot hero that does a bajillion damage.
Sure.
without a doubt. But you have the ability, if you want to make a custom character, you want to kit bash that thing. You want what's they said, the Grot Shaman on, a dragon. You can do that thing, We'll get to what I made here in a minute. It's pretty fun, but it's everything from elf to Bulgor to demon to human to skink, mortals. Some of them do have little army designations. Yes. So if you take an elf, you have to pick, is it Doc, Ideneth, Lumineth, or cities? If it's a demon, is it Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, Hedonites, right? They put all of that in there for you to make a determination, but some of them have it built in. So like the one I'll be talking about is Death Mage. That's the one my wife picked for me to use. It has Soul Blight Gravelords. Yeah. It just has that, right? Whereas if you look at like Malignant, it's a Night Haunt. Yeah. Period.
That's what you can do.
So there's a lot of stuff in there that just says this is what it is, but then the ones that do have customization options, they have customization options.
Yep.
So you go Ancestry, then you pick your weapon. There's only certain combos of weapons you can do. Pick your archetype. I'm just doing this real quickly because we'll go through and tell you our creation process.
Yep.
Your archetype is Commander, Acolyte, or Mage. Commander has 2 command abilities. Acolyte has 2 prayers. Mage has 4 spells.
Yep.
Then you can get a Bestial Companion, whether it's minor, mounted, or gargantuan. So, familiar, horse, Maw Crusher kind of difference. And then you can give options to your Bestial Companions to upgrade them. Then you have your characteristics and enhancements. This is where you can upgrade yourself. So again, any enhancement can be taken up to 3 times, and abilities can only be taken once, right? Otherwise, as Bill and I were kind of musing earlier, if you couldn't do that, you can make a broken priest or archmage. Right?
True, yeah, you can make something super strong.
So that's real quick and dirty on that. And they talk about how you can use it, your hero in battle, because it's 10 points, right, for every glory spent on it, or for every destiny point.
5 points.
5 points?
Yeah, 5.
Okay.
Is it 5 or 10? Wait.
No.
Yep, no.
If you're allowed to include your hero in your army, count the number of destiny points you have spent and multiply the total by 10.
By 10, yes.
So the max is 400 points.
Yeah.
Right? Which is fair for what you can get for 400 points.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And then it talks about Path to Glory in tournaments. It has to be allowed, blah, 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 blah. So let's talk about the heroes we made.
Yep. And we just kind of split the difference. I made a 20 point. You made a 40 point. I'll go over mine real quick.
Okay.
So what I did was, of course, a 20 point limit. And since my current rage is Sylvaneth, I made it a Sylvaneth, which means it's locked into the Sylvaneth army. Who knew?
Who would have thought?
Who'd have thunk it? And of course, it came with a base set of stats. So for the Sylvaneth, it was a 5-inch move, a 5 up save, 7 bravery, and 5 wounds. This is a hero, and that's a basic hero kind of template.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what it ends up as because that would be bad. So what I decided was I kind of wanted to make a sort of modified mounted priest because Sylvaneth has no priests, and I want one.
That's fair.
So I get to build him. So what I did was I equipped him with the option to have 1 bow and one-handed melee weapon. Okay. His melee weapon is a Flail of Quajamu, which is my city in Gur. So it's basically a 3-inch range, which is what I wanted. 2 attacks, 4 up, 4 up, no rend, 1 damage, and that cost me 1 point, destiny point. Just to be Sylvaneth cost me 4 points. So I'm up to 5. My ranged weapon is a Christenwood bow, which is 18 inches, 2 attacks, 4s and 4s, no rend, 2 damage. And that cost me 2 points. That's not he's not a melee guy. That's not what he does.
Right.
Although having, 2 18-inch shots is not bad.
Not at all.
I'm not throwing it away. Okay, so he took the archetype Acolyte, obviously, because I wanted to get the keyword priest. The restrictions in that was couldn't be demon, death mage, Saurus, or Skaven, unless it was cleanse pestilence. But
yeah. So
I met that. And for my ability, I could pick one of the prayers below. Now, the prayers were either Fury of Gur, which is if it's answered on a 3 or better, pick 1 enemy unit within range visible to character, suffers D3 mortal wounds. I did not want that. I wanted Tame Beast.
Okay.
Prayer has an answer value of 3 and a range of 18 inches. If answered, pick 1 enemy monster that is within range visible to the caster. Until your next hero phase, that monster cannot carry out a monstrous rampage. That could be amazeballs, which is why I wanted it. So I paid you don't pay any points at all for your archetypes. You just basically get them. It's what your character is defined as. So now I have a priest. Utility-wise, in a Sylvaneth army, there's no priest lore in the Sylvaneth, so that's all he does.
Yeah.
But having the ability to turn off a monster, I thought was really kind of fun.
I like it.
Yep. So he took for his bestial companion, he was mounted, and it's a Gurian Panther, which actually costs 8 destiny points for a really terrible set of... It's a very minor set of stats because you can then buff them up. But one of the nice parts about a mounted beast is I got to add 2 to my hero's wounds characteristic, and I changed his move to 8 from 5.
Yep.
Very nice. It did cost 8 destiny points. It gives me a claw and a maw attack, and it follows the rules for mounted combat. But then for my bestial companion options, I gave him razor sharp claws, which improves his claw rend by 1. Since he had no rend on his claws before, he now has rend 1 claws, which is kind of nice. It cost me 2 points, but rend is, it's rend.
Yeah.
So, all right. And then moving on to the final additions, enhancements and abilities, I took the superior vitality, which added 1 to my wounds characteristic. And then I took extra armor, which increased my save characteristic by 1. So what I ended up with was a Sylvaneth hero who's a priest on a panther with a move of 8, a save of 4 up, bravery 7, and 8 wounds. And he can shut down monsters. Very nice little utility piece. 200 points is a lot, but remember, this is narrative play.
Yeah.
So it really isn't that much of a thing.
Yeah.
You're going to be picking and choosing your units every game, and it's basically what's on your roster. So, so that's what I made. I thought he was kind of fun. Or she, I don't know.
I agree with that. And it's not bad, particularly if you're doing Hero Quest. And
Yes.
so you play Hero Quest to get your hero.
Oh, yes.
So once you get your hero, if you do the 20 to 40 destiny points, then it's something that's just going to be added.
Yep.
Based off of that. Because that's, according to this, the only way currently, unless you're allowed to do one to start.
Yeah.
It's the only way currently to get that set up.
A hero added.
So what I did.
Yes, what did you do?
I had my wife pick, like I said earlier. She picked Death Mage because she said that was the only cool name in the list. Or sorry, not only, the coolest name in the list.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but there's something like Malignant. And she's like, that sounds like a tumor. I was like, damn.
Yeah, you're kind of right.
Yeah, okay. So Death Mage. So I had 40 points to spend here. Death Mage, base 3, 5-inch move, 5 wounds, 6+ save, 7 bravery. Their death, Soul Blight, Gravelord's Death Mage hero. Roughly speaking, a necromancer.
Sure.
Right? All right. So one of the cheapest options at 3 points. Where do I go from here? So
you have 37 points left. What do you do? Oh my God.
So I was like, all right, Kim. So now that you've picked the Death Mage, what kind of weapon should they have? And she's like, I don't know. And she looked at him. She's like, well, I feel like he should have a staff, but at the same time, that great axe looks really nice. So he has a great axe. And I was like, okay. So you have a mage with a great axe. So I'm getting this sort of like upfront fighter caster type.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Feels like that's what it's going for. So archetype, well, the only option for Death Mage is mage.
Who knew?
So you get 1 spell and add it to the War Scroll. They can cast 1 spell and bind 1 spell. And the spell table has 4 options. Aura of Protection, casting value 7, range of 12, if successfully cast until start next hero phase. Friendly units have a 6+ ward while they are wholly within range of the caster. Not bad.
That's really nice. A 12-inch bubble of ward save.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Doesn't quite feel like this murderous death mage, right?
No.
I'll get to the one I did last. So
Okay.
there's Metamorphosis, which is the monster spell that we already
Yes.
talked about. There's Raise Dead. Well, it's kind of close to Death Mage, right? Raise Dead is a spell has a casting value of 6, range of 12. If successfully cast, you pick 1 friendly unit within range invisible, and you can turn a number of slain models to that unit that have a combined wounds characteristic of D3 or less.
Yep.
Which, if you're actually reading that, you can use that ability in any army, right? oh, so now I'm resurrecting Skaven, or oh, now I'm resurrecting, crossbowmen,
Sure.
or whatever it is, right? So, okay, I'm here for that.
That's
but
strong.
I think Curse of Damnation fit this character the most, which Curse of Damnation is a spell that has a casting value of 7 and a range of 12 inches. If successfully cast, pick one enemy unit within range, you deal D3 mortals to them, and you subtract 1 from save rolls for attacks that target that unit, right? So we've got a Death Mage that uses a Great Axe that sounds like he wants to be in combat, so he's damaging things as he's coming in so he can hit him harder.
Oh, hell yes.
And the Bestial Companion, well, I'm going to announce the name now, but as we were talking about it, I realized some things. I had to rearrange some points while, you were talking.
Okay, gotcha, yeah.
So this is now changed. So originally I had a Mounted Beast. You did a Mounted Beast. All right, let me change that up. So I went with a Gargantuan Beast.
God, those are awesome.
It says no Bulgor or Dragon Ogre, understandably, though a Dragon Ogre riding a dragon might be kind of cool.
No.
But I can tell you this.
That ain't right.
You could have something else riding a Dragon Ogre or a Bulgor.
Jesus.
Right? And have them be your mounted option just for modeling purposes. But anyway, so this is 15 points. By the way, the Great Axe was 2 points. So
yeah,
now I'm at 20 of my 40.
Mm-hmm.
So you add 8 to the wounds characteristic. So now I'm up to 13 wounds. Okay. That's good.
Okay, we're getting there.
Move characteristic goes to 10. The claws, these are different than yours. They actually get a damage table. So you start a 10-inch move, go 8, 6, 4 as you degrade. The claws have 6, 5, 4, and 3 attacks, and the maw does 4, 3, 2, and 1 damage on the table. So the claws, 2-inch range, 6 attacks, 4 to hit, 3 to wound, -1 rend, 2 damage. But the maws, 2 attacks, 3s to hit, 3 to wound, -2, 4 damage top. That is spicy.
That is super spicy.
So I'm like, okay, what is he riding? What is this thing that he has? Because I want to give it Winged Beast, which I did. So this is now the Lord of Death on Monstrous Voracious Sugar Glider. So I gave it Winged. So love it. So the next step is, well, what do I do next to customize him, right?
Yeah.
So I come in here and I'm like, well, his armor saves a 6, so I don't like that because he's going to be a little bit punchier, but he's also a mage, so he's not going to be like super powerful. So
but he is going to get stuck in.
Yeah, he is. So I gave him extra armor twice, so his save is a 4-up instead of a 6.
Nice.
He has Archmage, which means he gets 1 to casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls.
Very nice.
He has Regenerate, which in your hero phase, you roll a dice on a 4-up, you heal D3 wounds allocated. I figured with that extra pip of save I didn't give him, that little extra heal would help, and it's a little bit more deathy. Weapon Master, so he gets his axe, which is normally a 4 to hit, 2 to wound, is a 3 to hit, 2 to wound.
Nice.
And then I gave him Ferocity twice, so I increased his attack characteristic by 2. So he's got 5 attacks, 3s, 2s, -2, 2 damage, as he flies in with his Voracious Sugar Glider, doing mortal wounds and reducing save characteristics. So
that's awesome.
And that would be at 400 points. And again, that was me trying not to game the system. It's just
to,
what it is.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing, though, is you're paying 400 points. He's a fifth of your army.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a sizable, it's a beefy character, but he's also 400 points. He's not free. It's not like, oh, yeah, you add it to your roster, but you still have to, play within the points limits. So while you can make some pretty bonkers characters, they cost you. It's up there.
It's true. And I have to say, there's a couple standouts in terms of like the starting basics. Like the Dragon Ogre is 10 points, but it's got 10 wounds.
Yeah.
8-inch move, 5-up save, 2 start.
Yep.
I thought you'd like this one, Bill. The Malignant. It's 6-inch move, 5 wounds, 4-up save, but it has Fly and Ethereal.
Yes.
And it's at 12 points. So like that's your starting Night Haunt hero.
Yeah.
Is already at 12 points. So you figure if you're doing a Night Haunt hero at 40, dear Lord.
Yeah, you are going to be bonkers.
Yeah, you have Fly built in. You're probably not going to put it on a mount or anything.
No.
You just devote everything to it.
Yeah, you're going to skip those points and just, turn it into whatever you want, be it a spell machine or a murder machine or a commander machine. So,
dear God, dude, a Night Haunt priest putting curse on something and having a bajillion chain rasps hit it.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, you could get broke. You could get broken here. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so there's some combos. There's some wombo combos.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, you're going to come across, there's going to be broken stuff.
Yeah.
There is going to be broken stuff in here because anytime that you have that much freedom, people are going to find something that's just nuts. Okay, it's narrative. Who cares? It's all good in the hood. So that's kind of where the narrative ends, is after the end of the Anvil of Apotheosis, because from there we go into...
Well, they have the Summons to War battle pack.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
skipped
so
the whole section.
this has 6 more battle plans for you to use.
Right.
And it incorporates the War Scrolls, right, battalions that we got here. And, we'll kind of leave that, to your reading to see what they do. Some of them are good. If you got Beast of Chaos, you got, 2 Stormcast, you've got Cruel Boys, and a Bone Splitters. So you got something to play with there. It's not...
And the thing about the Summons to War battle pack in here is it's designed to mimic the lore that's in the front section of the book, to show you how we got where we're at today in Gur. It's obviously going to feature, if you read, when we talk about the lore, you're going to find Indrosta is very important to this story. Cruel Boys and their appearance is very important to the story. So this is how you're going to capture that flavor, is through this campaign. And, again, it goes back to what I didn't like about some of the previous campaigns, where you had to have very specific armies in order to play those scenarios. This is a lot more open, and they tell you flat out, if you don't have all the armies or units needed to fight the battle, just substitute suitable units that you do not have for the ones that you do not have.
Yeah.
It's up to you to decide what you think would be appropriate replacements. So if you wanted to do this with Seraphon, Sylvaneth, and Skaven, okay, hit it, do it. Just kind of keep that same flavor, and of course follow the order of the scenarios that they're talking about in the battle pack, and have at it. I like this. It's a lot more free and open. The War Scroll battalions that come with this battle pack, however, are keyed to those.
Yeah.
As if you had that stuff. You have God's Maw's Vanguard, which is 1 Vanguard Palador unit, 0 to 2 Vanguard Hunters, 0 to 1 Ether Wings, and all of them have to have the Astral Templars keyword.
Yep.
Okay, this is what is in the lore.
Yeah.
If you're going to recreate it, this is what you have to do. So, it's keyed to it. But again, you can do it with anything. You can change that story. So, and then, of course, they follow up the battalions with the battle plans that you play in order. It's going to basically recreate the lore section of the book.
Yep.
So if that's something that you're interested in doing or modifying, these scenarios are I've looked through them and they're very, very cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, you can pick these scenarios out of this book, and with a couple of word changes, use them and have a pretty good game, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So
then real quickly, just to touch on, so that's the end of the narrative.
Yes.
And when we go through the narrative part of the book next time, we might touch on those battle plans.
Sure.
So just keep an ear out for that.
Yep.
So Strife and Thondia Battle Pack is the match play rules that you can adopt. It gives you your standard stuff for match play. This is your point limits. This is how many of what units you can take. Kind of frankly rehashes a bunch of things. You get your core battalions with the new Monstrous Kill Pack.
Yeah.
That you can all Titanic duel, which is so funny. Or as the kid at the shop calls it, the Kaiju battle.
Yeah.
You got your Hunters of the Heartland. You got your Incarnate Masters of Gur, the Incarnate one. Really good. So that way, if your hero dies, you don't lose it to wild form as long as you have another unit from that battalion.
That battalion is bonkers because it takes one leader, which is obviously going to be what is bound to the Incarnate. But then there's 3 troop choices.
Yep.
Also up to 3 troop choices. And the thing doesn't go wild until all of those are destroyed. So that pretty much is going to keep the Incarnate under your control. Unless you're really, really bad like me. So,
and it's 1-drop deployment too. So I think for those who take the Incarnate, that's going to be the auto include battalion.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
100%.
Yep.
So I'd expect to see that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of Giants with the Incarnate. That's very interesting.
Oh, sick.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Got Got some grand strategies and battle tactics, almost all surrounding the Incarnate, particularly the battle tactics.
Yeah, and literally, go to Facehammer.
Yeah.
He breaks all this stuff down and shows you what's good, what's not.
Yeah.
They.
God,
it's a thing.
Well, Russ talks and Byron just occasionally opines, but no. Okay.
Yeah.
No, they do great work. I like that one.
And then, of course, they in the match play section, which is really weird to see them crossing these lines, there is a actual campaign complete with a scoring sheet and everything. So if you are looking to run an event at a store or, a garage hammer kind of thing, you can literally lift this and plonk it down and say, this is what we're doing. And it gives you the order of the battle plans, who won, what you did, and you will end up eventually with a winner of that campaign. Really cool. And it kind of blurs that line between the narrative and the match play sort of communities. Not that I think AOS has a real big problem with that, like, in other potentially Games Workshop systems, might be like 40K. But honestly, it's a really cool thing to add. And again, in the match play section, you're talking about 5 new battle plans that go into the mix for battle plans for tournaments and what have you. And they're really cool. A lot of thought's been put into them. Listen to them to hear what they think of the battle plans and how they're so thematically linked to some of the things that aren't going to work for tournament play. But others are they will get thrown into the mix because they're just generic and good.
Yep. Yeah, so I really like Thondia, and I'm excited for us to really go into the narrative next time we record.
Yes.
So expect a lore-heavy section where we really discuss, what's happened since Kragnos.
Yeah,
right?
Where we are and how we got here and how the Broken Realms leads Thondia is a small part of a much larger whole. But the idea that how this fits into the overall lore and how they're not painting themselves into any corners with a book like this, to me, is the master stroke of this book. Not only is it narratively amazing, but it's written in such a way that nothing in here is going to get in the way of anything else that they do, which in, the old world was something that was happening all the time.
Yeah.
And in fact, even in AOS, we were getting into a point to where they were doing things with such a broad brush that you couldn't avoid being hit by this.
Yeah.
In this particular book, you can take it or leave it or just pull parts out that you like and plunk them in to play and have a lot of fun with. And if this is the framework for books going forward, just shut up and take my money because I'll buy them all. Well, I'll buy them all. I won't pre-order them, but by God, I will buy them all.
Right. Yeah. So look forward to next time where we have a really solid discussion on the lore, kind of going back to like when I first started.
Yeah.
We were deep in the lore.
Now,
so we're going to go back to that point and really explore what's happened.
Yeah. One elephant in the room I do want to touch on, and I don't know that this is going to happen. But right now, the only way you can get the Incarnate of Gur is in the big box of Thondian terrain and battle, and the cardboard mats. That has a lot of people very angry. All I can say is two things. Damn well they're all about money.
Yeah.
The Incarnate of Gur is going to come out in its own box.
Yeah.
Very soon, I would imagine. Second of all, there is absolutely nothing that says the Incarnate of Gur must look like this. Anything that you have on a similar base can be your Incarnate of Gur.
Yep.
Do a Purple Sun. Do any one of the, anything. And use it as your Incarnate of Gur.
The Gnashing Jaws on that base size seems very Gur.
It's very perfect.
Yeah.
So, it's a question of don't feel like if you didn't buy that box, you can't play this book. That's not true.
Nope.
So, and if you're saying that, you're obviously check your narrative at the door.
Yeah.
So now you want to hear a hot take?
Yeah.
Okay. Incarnates are the replacement for endless spells.
I agree.
Okay. Wow. Thanks for generating a lot of discussion there with my hot take.
Well, I mean, it's even like thematically in there because they're showing up and devouring the endless spells.
Yeah.
Right. So it'd be like the realms coming to life and
saying enough of this bullshit.
yeah.
Because honestly, I think endless spells are stupid. And the way they've had to shoehorn them into this edition is so clumsy.
Yeah.
I literally hope that sometime very soon we're going to get a thing that says, yeah, endless spells are gone. Use those models for something else. Because they're just stupid. They don't work.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they're either so strong and so powerful that they dominate the game and are auto-includes, or they're simply useless.
Yep. That's fair.
That's
fair.
So they don't work. They were at the time they came out, they were okay and they were well thought out. But as the game has evolved, they've just been left behind.
I think so.
They don't work. So anyway, I think we're gonna go after dark, aren't we?
Yeah, at least for a few minutes.
The sun just came up. Yeah. So let's jump into After Dark, where we're going to talk about stuff.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. We'll see you next time for the lore.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us at our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at rolling_bad. Our individual Twitters are, for me, at Bill Castello, BILLCASTELLO. And for Josh, you can reach him at Anoyo, ANOYOE. All the guests on the show will have their contact information in that show's show notes. The music in the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and is used under the Creative Commons license. The Rolling Bad podcast itself is protected under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. Information for this license can be found at creativecommons.org.